processes of erosion, transportation, and deposition. Material is worn away and removed from one location by erosion, then carried along, sometimes for huge distances by transportation, and placed in another location when energy is lost by deposition. Processes that are carried out by the wind are referred to as eolia, named after the Greek god of the wind, Aeolus. These processes are particularly important to the physical geography of dry and arid areas such as deserts. The vast expanse of bare rock surfaces, strong trade winds, and endless supplies of dry and of arid environments come together to create this strange and spectacular landscape. There are two types of aeolian erosion: deflation and abrasion. Deflation happens when fine loose sediments and carried away by the wind. Arid landscapes are very monotonous as they lack any moisture or vegetation to hold the soil and set it together. Any rock or any sand will be left behind to form a desert pavement. Abrasion happens when material carried in the wind is blasted at rock surfaces. This causes them to wear away and any rough edges become smoother and flatter. Desert rocks are susceptible to abrasion because they don't have a protective layer of soil or vegetation, so they are constantly exposed to wind. Abrasion is most effective up to 1.5 meters when the wind carries more material at this height. Rocks that have flat sides due to abrasion are called bentonites. The wind transports material in three different ways: by suspension, saltation, and surface creep. Very fine sand that has been picked up by deflation is suspended in the wind and can be carried for very long distances, for hundreds or even thousands of miles. If any rocks are encountered along the way, this suspended material can be used for abrasion. Saltation is when particles between 0.1 and 1 millimeter in size bounce along the ground up to 1.5 meters high. Saltating material can also be used for abrasion, and this explains why rocks get eroded at a faster rate closer to the ground. Surface creep involves larger particles that are too heavy to be lifted by the wind. Those bigger than 1 millimeter in diameter. They are pushed and rolled along the ground, and they contribute to the formation of sand. When the wind loses energy, it deposits the material to be carried. This can happen when the wind speed drops or it meets an obstacle. Fine sediment, known as loess, can build up in a sheltered area behind rocks and vegetation. As the obstacle gets larger, more material is deposited. This is how sand dunes can start to build. And this is how desert landscapes are shaped by the wind. Did you know you can download a revision link to accompany this video? Just click on the link below to access this and lots of other resources for learning geography.
Children, we are doing Geography Chapter 3, Our Changing Earth. In this chapter, you learn about Earth's movement, changing Earth's landform due to endogenic forces and exogenic forces. In endogenic forces, you learn about earthquake, volcano, and I told you that landslide you will learn in next class. And exogenic forces, you learn about work of river and work of wind. Work of river and work of sea waves we have already done. Today we will do work of ice, means this glacier, and work of wind. So gradually you will be able to complete this chapter by today. Only two topics we kept for today. So let us start. Work of ice. Here you can see on the left hand side beautiful picture. You can a glacier, right? We all like to see all this natural beauty, but it is also part of land form, right? So glaciers are also known as rivers of ice. Glaciers are rivers of ice which too erode and landscape. While we are enjoying this natural beauty, actually they are creating some landform. They also eroding, they are carrying away landforms, land particles, sand, rocks with it, and somewhere it will depositing. Right. So for us, for at that time being, we are thinking that so nice, beautiful ice river is there, glaciers are there, or moraines are there. Actually, they are playing very important part in creating landform. How they are doing? Let us see. Glaciers are rivers of ice which too erode the landscape by bulldozing soil and stones to expose the soil rock below. Means what they are doing, because soil, when frozen water, when it comes in the form of ice, then it become very heavy, and it bulldozing soil, it is just a soil and stone exposed to the rock below, and in this way it create hollow structure. It glaciers carve out deep hollow there as the ice melt, and when in the summertime, when weather climate change, then it ice will start melting and it will fill up with the water and it become beautiful lake in the mountain. The material carried by the glacier, such as the rocks, big and small, sand, silt, get deposited. So when again in this time, during the course of time, when again due to some heat and pressure, it will start bulldozing, it will start weathering away, eroding some part. Then that lake will fill up with these stones and silt and all this, and again it will bulldozing some other part and create beautiful lake. So this deposit forms glacial moraines. Glacial moraines is like a small structure, a small frozen ice river, frozen river. So it will create very beautiful natural scene. Here you can see, and in our north side, full of this type of beautiful sceneries are there. Last important factors which play very important role in creating different landforms is wind. Right here you can see a picture of sand dunes. This type of scene mostly you can see in desert area. Have you ever visited a desert? Try to collect some pictures of sand dunes. As an active agent of erosion and deposition, right? Amongst all these agents, they are very important, but most important is water and wind. So water you learn in that previous section, work of river. Here you will see work of wind. As an active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert is wind. In desert you can see rocks in the shape of mushroom, because in desert area, because of heat and it always sink below. So most of the lower part of this eroded much than the topper part. So in desert you can see rocks in the shape of mushroom, commonly called mushroom rock, which erode the lower section of the rock more than the upper part. Right? What happen in desert area, in this sandy area, you can see this type of area in say Kutch, Rajasthan also. There you can find that mushroom rocks. How it created? Suppose the sand dunes are there or mountain of sand is there. So when wind will blow, it will always erode the lower section. So the lower part will be thin and upper part will be wider. So the lower section of the rock more than the upper part. Therefore, such rocks have narrower base and wider top. So it will like a mushroom. When the wind blows, it lift, and when again will wind start blowing, it will lift and transport large part of the sand to the one part to the another part. When it stop blowing, sand falls and get deposited in low hill like structure. So all of a sudden when the wind will start blowing, it will carry lots of sand with it, and when it stop blowing, then it will fall all at one place and it will create sand dunes. When the grains of sands are very fine and very light, the wind can carry it over a very long distance, because when it is very light and very fine sand particles are there, then it will be very light in weight. so it can carry to the larger long distance, and it deposit in the large area. So this large area created by wind, it's called loess. Large deposit of loess mostly found in China. Okay, students, so hope this through wind you can find mushroom rocks, you can find sand dunes and loess. So, children, hope all these four important factors you learn clear. If you are having any doubt, you can ask, and keep watching these videos again and again so you will get it clear. And still, if you are having, because in this term you learn so many different terms, new terms related to volcano, sorry, earthquake, mushroom rock, sand dune. So if you are finding, if you are not getting anything, you find difficult, you can ask me. Okay. So now we will do question answers of this chapter. કોકે મરચા ઉડે. Okay, student. So let's start question answers of this chapter. In question 1, answer the following question. Question number 1. Why do the plate move? Yeah, here we are talking about the earth, different layers, different plates. Answer. The plates move because of the movement of the molten magma inside the earth. Right? In previous chapter you learned that deep inside the core is always molten magma, boiling molten magma is there, and it creates heat and pressure, and because of that plate move. Question number 2. What are exogenic and endogenic forces? Exogenic forces. The forces that work on the surface of the earth are called exogenic forces. Endogenic forces, the forces that act in the interior of the earth are called as endogenic forces. Question number 3. What is erosion? Erosion is the wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, wind and ice. Question number 4. How are floodplains formed? You remember, children, you learn in the work of river floodplains. So let us understand what will be the answer. During floods, layers of fine soil and other material called sediments are deposited on the river bank. This leads to the formation of a flat, fertile flood plains. Ganga Brahmaputra plain is an example of flood plain. Not necessary here, they will not ask, but if you want to write, you can write example. Question number 5. What are sand dunes? I just explained you. Sand dunes are low hill-like structure formed by the deposition of sand in the desert. Question number 6. How are beaches formed? Beaches are formed when the sea waves deposit sediments along the shores of the sea. Right? As water is an important factors of landform, so it carries lots of sediments with it, and when it deposits at the seashore, it creates beaches. Next question. What are oxbow lakes? When the meander loops is cut off from the main river, it forms a cut-off lake. Cut-off lake is also known as oxbow lake. As its shape is like an oxbow, it is also known as oxbow lake. Question number 2 is just for your knowledge and for understanding. You can do in your textbook, no need to write in your classwork. Tick the correct answer. Which is not an erosional feature of sea waves? What answer will come? Cliff. Second, The depositional feature of a glacier is, which answer will come? Moraine. Third, which is caused by the sudden movement of the earth? Volcano. Fourth, mushroom rocks are found in desert. Oxbow lakes are found in river valleys. Question number 3, here you can see match the following. Glacier, river of ice, meanders, hard bedrock, beach, seashore, sand dunes, desert, waterfall, rivers, and last, earthquake, vibration of earth. Question number 4, give reasons. Some rocks have a shape of mushroom. In desert, wind usually erodes the lower section of the rock more than the upper part. Therefore, such rocks have narrow base and wider top, which take the shape of mushroom. So, in desert you can find mushroom rock, or we can say that some rocks are having shape of mushroom. Question number 2. Flood plains are very fertile. Floodplains are formed by the deposition of fine soil and other material called sediments on the river bank. As the soil and sediments are brought by flood water, they are very fertile. It carries lots of nutrients for the crops. And I gave you example of Ganga Brahmaputra plains, you can write. Question number 3. Sea caves are turned into stakes. So here in this question they have actually asked about the work of sea waves. So all details you can write from sea caves to beaches. Sea waves strike at the rocks. As a result, cracks develop which become bigger over time and hollow-like caves are formed on the rocks. They are called sea caves. These cavities become bigger and time comes when only the roof of the caves remains to form sea arches. Further erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left. These walls-like features are called sea stacks, or only you can write stacks. In this way, sea caves are turned into stacks. Understand? Question 4. Building collapse due to earthquake. Most of the buildings are not safe enough to resist the vibration of the earthquake, because the pillar of these buildings are deep inside the earth, and when these plates moves, so most of the buildings are not safe enough to resist the vibration of the earthquake. They are not made earthquake proof. They collapse, tearing apart due to shallow foundation and lack of adequate steel in the interior design. That's why now government has made compulsory for all these building to have the RCC pillars and adequate steels. Otherwise, government will not pass your plan. Okay, so these were the question answers. Give reasons. You need to write only question answers and give reason in your classwork. Okay. Still, if you are having any query, any doubt regarding these question answers or any of the topic, you can ask me. Okay, children, keep learning. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye.